The latest update from the developers of Ashes of Creation is out, and this time they focus on the gathering system and how it will work in the upcoming mmorpg. So let's take a look at what they've presented. The perhaps biggest differentiation in AOC from conventional MMOs is that every tree, bush and rock that can be found around the world will be interactable and gathered by the player. This would grant a level of immersion that is rare in MMOs. Usually, gatherable resources will be placed in certain areas and will look different to their environment as a way of telling players that it is in fact a resource that can be gathered. In AOC, pretty much everything can be cut down, picked or harvested. The catch is that you don't know what resource you will get. Rocks won't show you what type of resource it contains until you have picked it open. Not knowing the resource in advance can be both good and bad. On one hand, you won't see groups of players hogging all the good spots with rare resources. On the other hand, it will be more difficult to find the resource that you need. AOC is mitigating this frustration by giving the players the ability to survey areas. Surveying an area can help players identify what resources are located nearby, as well as notifying them of hidden resources that exist in the area. The survey will also provide players with information on what season the resource is thriving. As we know, AOC will have a seasonal system in place, changing the landscape with it. And with the seasons, resources will be affected as well. You might, for example, come across a flower that only grows during the winter. Not only are resources affected by seasons, it will also be influenced by how players interact with the resource system. High traffic and high volume of interaction will affect the land management system negatively in the area, resulting in slower regrowth rate, for example. But player interactions don't necessarily result in negative outcome. Rotating crops or removing poachers could instead increase the growth rate of the resource. Together with the gathering system, AOC will also include professions. Professions will introduce accessibility to certain resources based on the type and size of the resource. Progression within the profession will affect the speed and yield of the resource, among other things. Gathering doesn't have to be a solo task anymore. AOC want to give players the opportunity to collaborate with other players to gather resources. Whether it's to cut down a large tree or other activities like transporting resources from one node to another, collaborative tasks like these will help widen the sense of community not only through battles and make the world feel more living and important. How the gathering system comes together with the rest of the game, we will have to wait and see. But the initial information regarding the gathering system looks promising and different from other titles. And hopefully, they can make gathering feel like an important and fun part of the game rather than a chore.